There we go. Hi guys, sorry, we're just doing another test. We thought we were recording. We've actually been recording for about 20 minutes, but we're idiots, and this is a new machine, and we just got a whole. Yay! Yay! All right, everybody, welcome to MooseMachine. This week on MooseMachine, we're broadcasting live from the Wizard's Tower in lovely Barhaven. Today we have a special treat for you guys. We're doing a live game of basically we're putting George in an odd situation. We're going to put Semi in a situation where he's playing a battle box of a faction he's never actually played.
I've never actually circled. There have been many a time that I've been doing the Legion side of this battle box, but this is the first time.
Yeah, and on the other side we have Jason. Jason is a new player, and Jason, what are you playing? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to prime up with a couple of questions, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to go over to George first. George, tell me a bit about the Circle Battle Box.
It's got two doggies and a wolf in it. I don't actually know a lot about this battle box. I've had it come at me a couple of times. I know I've got a paralyzing bark and some kind of stunning on the other side. I have had to fight many a warp wolf, so I'm expecting it to do a lot of damage and then die almost instantaneously unless I can pull it back. I know that Kaya does have a teleport in her toolbox, as well as a decent just single nuke. So I'm going to try and use that to my best advantage.
Awesome. So you've got two different colored Argai here. What's the deal with that?
As far as I understand, now, of course, I don't play this faction, so it's just what I'm going by what I've been told.
So feel free to correct them, all you Circle players.
So the brown one hurts living things, and the white one hurts non-living things. So from what I understand, there's a paralysis on the brown guy, but none on the white guy, which is why if you're actually running against War Machine, the normal battle box with the two regular Argai is just going to cause all kinds of nothing to happen. So you want to, when you're going up against hordes, the brown guys are good, but that's the reason they changed the basic battle box from what you get in the battle group box to what you get in the two-player battle box, which is what we've got here.
Awesome. Thank you very much, George. We're just going to go over to Jason. We'll ask him a couple of questions. And just remember, guys, if you're watching the stream at any time, if you have a question, you're welcome to shout it out. We will ask questions of the players. If you have any tactics or tips for Jason as a newer player, please feel free to shout it out. George doesn't get any tactics or tips because we're basically giving him the short end of the stick this week. Jason, you've been playing Hordes War Machine for how long now?
About 2 months.
And how do you feel about the learning curve of Hordes War Machine? Do you feel like you're getting better each day? Was it hard to learn in the first place?
It is difficult to learn, especially where I've never really played tabletop games like Warhammer before. So it's a brand new experience for me. After 2 months, I feel like I'm starting to get a really good hang of things, and once you get the basic gist, it really starts to pull together fairly easily.
Yeah, once you just have to keep playing games, I think, is the real rule, right? So how many games are you on now? What are you sitting at?
I must be sitting around 8 or 9 games right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if you're able to sort of pick up the basics in 8 or 9 games, I think you're rocking along. Okay, guys, I'm not going to delay you too much longer since we're already like 40 minutes late for starting the stream today. But why don't you go ahead and roll off to see who goes first. Oh, and we also need to discuss what the terrain is while we're at it. So before you roll, let's talk about what the terrain is.
Standard terrain layout would be
for something like this. We look at the table.
For something like this, we look at the table.
We've got a pile of rocks in the middle. Let's say that's rough terrain.
Let's say that's rough terrain. We've got a forest.
It's pretty obvious as a forest. We've got
pretty obvious as a forest.
We've got two house-looking things.
We'll say that they're blocking terrain. Just the image, not the like grass running inside.
Looks like we've got a wall over here.
Looks like we've got a wall over here. Is that okay?
So that's always important.
Sounds great.
So that's always important just to note while you're watching George, guys, is that he always made sure that he announced what he thought the terrain was, but he made sure his opponent was cool with that. And so let's get you guys to roll off.
I rolled 3 as well. Reroll. I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 4. 6. All right, do you want to go first or second?
I will go first.
Okay, so we're going to do the standard War Machine setup of 10 inches. So if you'd like to change anything there.
I believe I'm good. Just going to measure to make sure I'm within my 10 inches. And I am.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my 10 inches as well. I think I'm going to not hinder myself to rough terrain and just wiggle myself over a little bit so that I get a clear line of sight. The Winter Argus over here.
So we have some basic, what's going on right now, guys, is we've got some basic deployment. Both are pretty much bricking up on either end. The scenario they're going to be playing is Tooth and Claw, which means that the winner is the person that can kill the other one's beasts or kill the caster as per usual. Jason is deploying Shredder number 1 first. I don't know if he ran or not. Jason has forgotten to put down his Fury on the running Shredder, but that's okay. He's catching up now.
Now, if you want them to go farther, don't forget you need to rabbit them. You have to do that before you run. Correct.
Jason's moved forward the second Shredder now. So this is a good sign of a new player that's starting to figure some things out here. We've got a different deployment than the usual run everything up forward in a big line. We'll see how George reacts to that with his super circle speed.
She just gets +2 on melee? Stupid.
Yeah, that's so. George just commented that one of the powers of Kaya is that she just gives +2 to melee on her everything. So all of the beasts in her battle group get +2, which is her ridiculous.
Living war beasts in this model's battle group in its control area gain +2 on melee attack rolls. So they all run.
Yep.
+2 higher math than
Which is why that's why she's such a great beast caster. That's why she's.
Mat 7s and Mat 9.
Yeah.
I'm not missing anything.
No, she's basically the best melee. Yeah, you put her on a whole group of work wolves and she eats stuff.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's only living beasts, right, that she does that too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't use
Yeah, that's why she's the best. One of the best beast casters, basically, because she just gives everybody the superpower. That's something that would normally be a spell.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, our USB mic is giving us echo.
Oh, okay.
So I just shut it off. So if you have something big to say, just call me over, and I'll. What I may do is go run back and forth between the two of you during your turns.
Run and you're done, remember?
Yes.
So you've run your caster forward.
Yes.
What happens when you run your caster forward?
Run and you're done.
Are you finished your turn, Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so over to me. Looks like Spirit Fang. Ooh, occultation, yummy. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is check my control area. She's a focus 6 caster, so that's 12 inches. I know that the threat range on an Argus with a 6-inch spray and a 7-inch move is 13 inches, so I'm not going to be able to spray anybody this turn. I'm going to end up taking the alpha one way or another, so I just want to mitigate as much of it as I can. Lilith loves to do her own work, and I know that, so I'm going to need to get up occultation to give everybody a little bit of room. She's still got 7 inches of move, so it only makes sense for me to just basically walk forward and armor up as much as I can. I've got Winter Coat, which is a self, so I'm going to try and keep my caster from dying by putting Winter Coat and occultation up. Is occultation battle group or is it single person? Friendly model unit. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 for each. So I think I'm just going to stealth up my caster, Winter Coat her for the extra armor just in case I've screwed up, and just get everybody up and out. So we'll start with the regular Argus. He's a speed 7. He's going to move up. The Winter Argus is a speed 7. It's also going to move up. The Warp Wolf is going to move up in there behind, and then Kaya is going to move up in behind them. She's going to do 2 for occultation on herself and 2 for winter coat on herself. And then she is going to, do I think I'm going to get shot at this turn? There is none out there. I really should have riled something. So I'm going to hold on to those 2 for dear life.
So George has made one mistake already right off the top, is that he didn't use any animi. And that means that he's got 0 focus sitting out on the field and sitting on only 2 on his caster, which means his next turn is going to be all about the beast doing the work. Jason, I believe it's your turn, sir. What you thinking?
I think I have a lot of fury sitting on the table.
You have
And
the exact opposite problem I do.
yeah, a little bit too much. So I need to get rid of some of that.
Did you take anything off your caster at all? Or is she sitting on full? Okay.
So I can
One off. Did you take 1 to run?
run.
Yes,
Is that
because
wrong?
if she's a warcaster and doesn't need to do that because she's a person.
So she's-
that's okay. That's one less that you have to worry
Yeah,
about.
you could have dropped that. So
Okay, so.
now remember, just a hint for you, beasts have this line of sight thing.
Yeah.
So if you do enrage, they will attack the nearest thing within their line of sight. So if you've got a beast that, unfortunately, you don't have front arc, so we can't actually claim it legitimately.
Yeah.
If you've got a beast, yeah, you're well, you just have to hope you don't get all angry, really, at this point.
Yeah, I'm used to having a shepherd on the table to pull fury away. So I'm not quite used to the fury checks or the threshold checks yet. So I might need a little help from George.
So the first thing you do is pull back all the fury that you can.
Yes, which is 1.
So he's pulling back the 1 fury that he's capable of
Now
pulling.
You have 2 beasties with fury left on them.
Yes.
So what is the threshold of a shredder?
Threshold of a shredder is 7.
So you'll roll 2 dice, add the number of fury that is on your beast, and then if that is higher than 7,
Okay.
if you break the threshold, then they'll go wild and try and do something.
So that would be an 8. So I need to roll under an 8 and 2
You
die.
need to roll 7 or less.
And 7 or less. Yeah. So let's see. For shredder,
Oh,
7.
He's fine.
Got lucky there. Okay.
And the
Second
one?
shredder. That is no.
That's an 8, so he does have 1 furious shredder.
So first thing, is there anything in melee? No.
No.
Next thing, is there anything in charge range? So there are things in charge range.
Yes.
That can be seen by the shredder. If we go across his shoulders, we see that I think the only thing that he can actually see is going to be that Carnivian.
Yes.
That is also in his charge range.
Yeah.
So if the only thing he can see is the Carnivian, then he's going to move directly towards the Carnivian,
Okay.
taking a charge.
Okay.
He's going to face the Carnivian just like he would at the end of any other charge. And he will do 1 boosted attack
Okay.
on him. So it's boosted to hit and boosted to hit.
So the shredder has a max 5. Carnivian has a.
I'm used to doing the math on 12. So yeah, it's a POW 10. The Carnivian's armor is currently 18.
So it's dice minus.
Yep. Wow. So 3 damage.
3 to the 2.
Okay.
That's bad.
That is bad.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
Oh, absolutely.
Could have been much worse.
Could have been the Carnivian going nuts. Okay, now you can choose whether or not to get rid of the fury on each one of those.
Get rid of the fury on each one of those.
All right.
And
So now
yeah.
his activation is done. You
Yes.
still have the activations of everything else.
Okay. Now, do I still have free movement on my Carnivian?
Oh, absolutely. Well, unless it took out your movement.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 3 damage did that.
No. Okay, so first person I will activate is Lilith.
Okay.
So Lilith, I'm going to just walk, and I'll head
inches this way,
Okay.
and perhaps just 2 this way.
So that's 5.
Okay.
She's got 7, I believe. You got 2 more left.
I'm just going to hang there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move this 3 over, and I'll take a shot at your Winter
Argus.
Argus.
Okay, so what's happening now is we're getting the first shot of the game.
So range on the Argus. The Winter Argus is currently a defense 15.
Okay.
I believe Lilith's a 7.
Rat 7.
Okay, guys, so Lilith is taking the first shot. Needs an 8 to hit.
Boost. Yeah.
Got the hit on the boost, double 6s.
That's a critical. I don't believe her bow has a clear effect.
Just checking to see if her bow has a critical effect.
No.
And does not.
It's not.
So that's definitely hit. Armor 14, so that's dice -2 with her power 12 bow. Also, your beast get to charge that Argus for free, and you can cast spells while it's outside of your range, and without having to roll the hit.
Yes. I am going to cast Parasite.
Okay. So
Jason is casting Parasite.
So that's going to drop my armor by 3, I believe.
That's going to drop
So
George's armor by 3.
11. So,
Power 12 bow, you're now rolling a dice +1, or are you going to boost the hit? Or boost the damage, sorry.
what's the health on the Winter Argus?
Winter Argus is undamaged at 21 hit points.
21 hit points. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to boost a hit.
Boost damage?
Boost damage, sorry.
Okay.
Boosted damage.
So
And
dice
that is-
+1 is
Wow, that's
clock.
a
So that's 17 to the
17 to the 1.
17 to the 1.
17 to the 1 on the very first roll. That's a very good start for Jason.
Yeah, that's 4 damage away from killing.
4 damage away from killing the wolf. And he's got a whole bunch of dudes that are going to go in and do some work.
Sounds like he's going to get charged and killed.
I'm going to try to charge with the
Are you going to rabbit him first to get
I'm
an
going
extra speed?
to rabbit.
So what Jason is doing now is he's following up by rabbiting with the Shredder.
So,
I can charge for free with him, right? Because he
That's
already.
correct.
Yes. Okay.
because, well, I assuming you're charging the Winter Argus because
Yes,
you
the Winter Argus.
because you hit her with Witch Mark and Blood Lure.
Yeah.
That Argus can be charged for free.
Right.
It's a speed 6 going up to a speed 8 plus 3 inches of movement, so you've got 11-inch charge. And ooh, that looks short.
Short.
So I will stick.
I would
finger
use.
there.
Why don't we pull out a exacting measurement tool just to make sure. A little bit late now since you already moved.
Oh no, but he was way out.
Oh, he was way out. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
if
not.
you look, I can stick a entire
finger.
finger
Yep,
in.
not a problem. Shredder did not quite make it.
So that means that you know that distance is more than 11. Now remember, you can always measure your control area to stop things like that happening.
Yes.
Because your control area is 10, his charge is 11. That gives you that 1 inch.
So George, while he's finishing up his movement here, figuring out what he's up to next. So what was the mistake here?
Well, it's not necessarily a mistake, but it's something that he should have considered having the extra knowledge. Because in MooseMachine, it's not a pre-measured game, you need to be able to make that distinction. Is that far enough? Can I get there? When you're playing an army you're not used to, or you're new to the game, judging a distance is really hard. Even for those of us who have been playing for a while, judging the distance is really hard. So a good way to do that is always remember that you're allowed to check your control area from your Warcaster at almost any time. He could have looked at his Warcaster, said, my Warcaster is about half an inch closer, measure the 10 inches from my Warcaster, because the Warcaster is focus 5, and that would give you a good distance idea and see that it would come up short. That would have just been a good way to prevent something like this happening.
Because he could have run it over there and at least just blocked
exactly.
up. Now,
Running
of
in
course, he
would
still
have-
has a Ravagore to Ravagore you, so.
That's a Carnivian?
Oh, he still has a Carnivian to Carnivian you.
Yes, and that Carnivian is a scary, scary beast. Not necessarily because he is going to be able to get to me. I know that without Rabid, He only has a 6-inch move plus 3 is 9, so he's not going to be able to probably get in there. But he has Assault, and Assault allows him to do his breath weapon at the end of it. And with 4 focus, I'm guessing a 10-inch breath weapon is going to lay right on top of my caster,
Right.
and he's going to have enough to boost it. And casters really, really hate being on fire. They really, really hate POW 14s.
Now, can he not just cast Rabid from one of the 2 shredders that he's got in the back?
Rabid is not an animus. Rabid is actually an ability of the Shredder. He can be forced to become Rabid. The Shredder's actual animus, which is incredibly useful, is an animus called Tenacity. Tenacity costs you 1 Fury, and it will up your defense and armor by 1.
Which is excellent. All right, I'll let you guys keep playing. I apologize for the interruption.
Speaking of assault,
I'm going to assault.
okay, choose your assault target. I would suggest a Warpwolf because you can see it in time. No, if you charge this guy. Here's the reason. If you charge this guy,
Yes.
then your spray is going to go this direction. If you charge this guy, even though you know you're not going to make it, your spray
So-
is going to go straight down the middle.
So yes.
Yeah, it will cost you an extra focus, but realistically, the 2 focus that you're going to use are for boosting to hit and damage on the caster.
Yes.
Well, that is my guess. You know, feel free to